What is up guys, Ghost here, and today we are talking again about Battlefield 6. So I've just finished watching EA play, hoping we're going to get some information about the next Battlefield game. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything solid. We did learn though that DICE is working on some sort of new Battlefield title. So there was a section towards the end of EA play where they sort of talked about upcoming development projects. They went on to describe how DICE basically always push the boundary in the graphical department and the audio department with all of their Battlefield games. We got a little look at some really raw footage here. So this first screenshot I'm going to show you guys is obviously, building destruction. They're expanding upon that, improving that, which is definitely a feature I know a lot of people have asked for, so that's good to see. You'll also notice there are a ton of soldiers around there on the floor, and I've actually counted them and there is 32. So since there are 32 people down there just around this building, I'm wondering if that means they are expanding the maximum player size for multiplayer or not. That could well be what they're testing here with the building destruction going off at the same time. They also showed us a little animation of some facial expressions of presumably a soldier or a character from the game, and in my opinion, if they're going to these depths to give this amount of realism to the characters, that almost certainly means that there will be a single player campaign. I can't imagine them going to these great lengths simply for multiplayer, since you're not really going to be staring an enemy soldier that close up in the face and looking at their facial reactions and stuff like that. I reckon this means there is a single player campaign coming as well. Now, they also showed us a couple of scenes of essentially a load of soldiers running around. Some of them are dying, some of them are killing other soldiers. It was only like, maybe a second or two. So I've put a screenshot here for you guys in the video that I've taken of it. You will notice that all of these soldiers look a lot like Battlefield 5 soldiers, and at first that kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh my god, don't tell me it's going to be another World War I or World War II Battlefield game, or possibly, Vietnam. But honestly, I think at this point, it looks to me like they're experimenting around with how many players they can get away with within a certain play space. So we may well see larger than 64 player battles in the next Battlefield title. I think that is pretty possible, especially looking at Battle Royale games these days with, 100 player rounds and above. As for the soldier costumes, I mean, you can see nothing is textured here. There is absolutely nothing on the floor, so I'm almost certain that they are just using these soldiers here that look like BF5 soldiers as placeholder. I would also say, looking at the stage of development at the moment, if they're only up to this stage, they're playing around with, play testing of how many players can we fit in a certain space, how much can we push the destruction on the new consoles and things like that, then we'll probably see something from the game next year, but it could well be that we'll be waiting until 2022 to actually get our hands on whatever this Battlefield game turns out to be. So it might be, EA Play next year when we hear more about the game, but it may actually be 2022 before it's released in October. If you guys watched EA Play, they also talked a lot about Star Wars Squadrons. That seems to be the game that they are releasing this October in order to essentially fill in the gap where Battlefield would have normally been. So yeah guys, kind of a mixed bag. We didn't actually get to know what the new Battlefield game is going to be. Is it going to be a modern game or not? But at least we did get to know that DICE are working on a Battlefield game of some description. So let me know your thoughts down below, leave those as always. Hit that like if you enjoyed and ring up the sub if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.